Are you there? Can you hear me? I wanted to say something. You've heard of this before, haven't you? Talk. It's a song by Coldplay. The title really says it all. Talk. It's about communication, telecommunication even, and connection. In long distance? Distance from others, but not quite loneliness. Disconnection. A yearning for a connection, driven by confusion and uncertainty. What was that? Oh, yes, there are 2 different versions of the song. Well, originally 3, but we've heard 2. There's the version released on the album X and Y. There's another version that was leaked beforehand. The songs share a lot of similarities in the lyrics. There are some lines that repeat in both, but the placement of those lyrics in each song shifts the meaning, if only slightly. It's an alternate version. It's like peering into an alternate universe. Let's get through this together. So you don't know where you're going and you want to talk. Studio Talk begins the conclusion of the song with this line. It's built up to, whereas in alternate talk, this line exists as the chorus, first from Chris's perspective. I don't know where I'm going and I want to talk. Along with the follow-up, both songs share. You feel like you're going where you've been before. I feel like I'm going where I've been before. Although the sentiment aligns with the overall theme in both versions, for the alternate talk to feature this as the chorus further pushes the song toward hopeless despair. Why is that? Because Studio Talk uses its chorus as a vehicle for a response and solution to the uncertainty. Even the first line of that chorus, you could take a picture of something you see. In alternate talk, the picture leads the second verse. Take a picture of something that you're not sure of. And already this line emphasizes uncertainty. The lines that follow? For Studio Talk, this comes in the form of a question. In the future, where will I be? For alternate talk, bring it back to show to me, but I don't know what I see. Neither is helpful. But in Studio Talk, this feels more like an aside or potentially a setup for its successive lines. You could climb a ladder up to the sun, or write a song nobody had sung, or do something that's never been done. I know we haven't gotten far into our conversation, and already it feels like we've hit the key difference between these 2 versions of talk, at least lyrically. The chorus, which in a way is the heart of a song, here presents the idea that when you're feeling lost or at a loss for what to do, you can really do anything. That might be part of the issue. You can really do anything. You have no clue what you'll end up doing. Does the chorus leave you unnerved? It does present the future as unknowable, but personally, I find some comfort in the idea that you can shape it however you like. As we grow older, we think the choices we have made limit the choices we can make. I believe there's always opportunity to radically change your life, but then again, I'm the same age Chris was when this song was released. I have many choices ahead of me. A quick aside, Ladder Up to the Sun is not in alternate talk, but Coldplay does have another unreleased song titled Ladder to the Sun, the chorus of which goes, "'Cause you're not just anyone, you're a ladder to the sun." You might wonder, wouldn't climbing toward the sun be undesirable? It's a very hot ball of burning gas. Maybe it just means to take you to a higher level, a ladder to the sun, as we see it in the sky, but not to the actual sun. That would have to be a very long ladder. Well then, in talk, does this have the same connotation? Is it meant to have the romantic ties it does in Ladder to the Sun? To me, I think it keeps its meaning as an ascension to a shining point, but not necessarily saying a person will represent that for you. Leveling up in your career, perhaps. Hobbies. Some kind of achievement. Now, to get back to the alternate version of talk, there isn't any sun. But there is the North Star. The first thing the song does is pull in imagery of navigation, lost, in the silence of the sea. It's not that he's inundated with conflicting messages which contribute to his confusion. He simply has no guidance he can rely on outside of one single star in the sky. Did you see the A Head Full of Dreams documentary?
I think we felt a lot of pressure to make some kind of grand album. So there was strange headlines in the press about the EMI share price and all of that stuff. We didn't even know what a share price was back then. We spent day after day after day of getting nowhere.
In general, the bigger you get as a band, all the kind of machinery around you gets bigger and bigger, and there's more things to get in the way of just four people playing music together.
It was the first time we'd been in that situation. We didn't know how to deal with all of that stuff.
That's the most self-conscious I've ever been about people not liking what we were doing, because I wasn't really sure if I liked it.
But it was weird, you know, when it crossed over into that mainstream media thing. We kind of started our band together, and there was a democracy and this kind of concept of equality. And of course, it was slightly strange when the press kind of focused on Chris and his relationship with Gwyneth. I think for a brief moment, it felt like, well, what about us? But I think it's probably been pretty awful for him at times. As amusing as it might be at first, after a while, it can feel pretty intrusive, pretty claustrophobic.
How about the 2014 Zane Lowe interview?
The thing you talked about of like being on stage with 60,000 people is a very specific kind of energy. Well, I think for a long time I didn't have the right help in how to reconcile those two people within me, because they're both me. And this is why a lot of frontmen have problems in their personal life. It's because there's this thing that you do that's only about 20 other people do, which is amazing, but which does something to your brain which is odd. And so if you're blessed enough to be doing that and then coming in and out of real life that everyone else is going through, you have to work very hard not to be a real dick. But before I met these kind of teachers that I've been blessed enough to find and started reading some of this work, I was just a bit lost with, you know, which is the real me. But now I understand that they both are.
During the making of X and Y, the album which houses Talk, Coldplay struggled to adjust to how their lives had shifted during the course of the previous two eras. The dichotomy of being humans, like anyone else, and being increasingly well-known musicians reared its ugly head. At the same time, the balance of that media focus leaned more heavily on Chris than the others. Considering that they would have written Talk as that first immense wave of fame was crashing, along with the turmoil surrounding their recording label at the time, it's no wonder this imagery found its way into the music. What I like about this verse is that Chris ends by saying, "When I go there, go with me." He's not asking to be saved, only joined. Not necessarily in a, "if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me" kind of way. More like, "Come on, love, stay with me." Wait, no, that's not... Yes, Alternate Talk begins with a picture of despair and really continues to drive that point home the rest of the way through. The only shimmer of hope is in making that connection with another person. "I don't know where I'm going and I want to talk." You tell anyone who will listen, but you feel ignored. "Let's talk." "Do you want to talk?" "I try, but I can't get through. I'm trying to get to you, but you're difficult to reach. Won't you talk to me?" "Let's talk." And that's the key similarity between the songs. Talk. The title really says it all. There's the desire to reach out to another person and obstacles which stand in the way of that, like a language I don't speak. Also, beyond the conversational connection, both songs make mention of a missing piece. The idea of being incomplete, of getting nowhere on your own, no matter whether the where is a place you want to be or not. Because you could be anywhere. People are everywhere in their lives. There's no one place to get to, and we never know where we'll end up. It matters less when we're not alone there. "When I go there, go with me." Studio Talk doesn't have this line. It makes mention of wanting companionship but never asks for it. Instead, it provides the chorus, a list of what someone could do when feeling lost. None of that requires another person. Yes, of course, the song ends with 4 repetitions of the line, "Let's talk," just as the alternate does. But what's the point of trying to raise your voice if no one ever hears? Oh no, I did it again. They say talk is cheap, you know? An outlet for your inner turmoil is great, but that on its own can only get you so far. Alternate talk requests a physical presence as well. Studio talk takes a more solitary approach. What can you do when you're lost or at a loss for what to do? Go out by yourself and do something. I guess, after all, you've got to find yourself alone in this world. Oh, that's the 3rd time this video. I blame Chris Martin. Okay, to be fair, it's possible some of the things that are listed in the chorus are not just potential solo activities, but also methods for expressing and communicating with others when words just won't or can't suffice. Photography and music are valid mediums for expression, and they reach us all, no matter the language we speak. In creating, sometimes we find the meaning we'd been looking for all along. The chorus isn't suggesting ways for you to be unique and accomplished and better than everyone else. In alternate talk, there is no suggestion for what to do, but not doing anything won't help either. In its different forms, at the core, it's a song about feeling disconnected and searching for ways to connect. We can find this both within ourselves and through others. I hope you understand that now. I think we've said enough here, so I'll talk to you again soon.